The fireworks are for me. A story of exile, empire, and one hell of a fuck you comeback. They say you can't choose your family. Yeah, no shit. If I could, I wouldn't have chosen the Montclairs, a clan so deeply entrenched in generational wealth and self-righteous bullshit that they practically exhaled stock options. They called themselves old money, but really they were just old cruelty in a nice suit. I was the mistake, the fuck-up, the stain on the silk. At 23, I was halfway through my second dropout from community college and already 6 internships behind my brother Julian, a man who couldn't spell API if you paid him. But he could land million-dollar hedge fund deals by breathing near cocaine-fueled venture capitalists, so naturally he was the chosen one. Me? I liked code, machines, silence. I didn't network well. I didn't smile for the sake of it. That was enough for my mother to write me off like a bad stock.
You don't belong in this family, Elise, she told me that summer. And frankly, you never did.
No tears, no drama, just a dismissal, like I was a servant that spilled wine on the carpet.
William, my father, didn't even look up from his fucking iPad. "We've closed your accounts," he said. "Your credit cards, too."
Julian, of course, had to twist the knife. You should write a book. Call it How to Ruin a Trust Fund in 5 Easy Steps.
They didn't disown me with fury. They disowned me with indifference, which, in its own way, cut deeper. You learn real fast how weak your bones are when the rug gets yanked out from under you. I moved into a 1-bedroom in Brooklyn that reeked of piss and mildew. I could see daylight through the baseboards. The hot water was a myth, and the rent still took 3 jobs to cover. I stocked shelves at night, cleaned offices in the morning, walked rich people's dogs in between. Meanwhile, the Montclairs drank Perrier-Jouet and posed for Forbes. I tried not to think about them, but hate has a long half-life. In one of those offices I cleaned, I found it. A broken server rig, mid-size, Dell PowerEdge, dumped in the trash like me. That thing became my temple. I wheeled it home in a stolen cart at 2 a.m. and spent the next 4 months fixing it piece by piece. Every spare dollar went to eBay parts. My laptop fried itself twice. My fingers bled. I dropped to 96 pounds from stress and malnourishment. But I didn't care, because for the first time in my life, I was building something that wasn't conditional on Julian's approval or Corinne's scorn. I named the project Nexon, a hybrid cloud platform focused on flexibility, privacy, and infrastructure-first scaling. Not sexy, but goddamn it worked. I didn't have capital. I didn't have a network, but I had time, fury, and a fuck you drive they didn't see coming. You know the moment I knew I had something? When 2 real estate brokers running a shared CRM platform on AWS called me because their latency was shit and Amazon's support had ghosted them. I onboarded them to Nexon manually. They paid $60/month. It wasn't much, but I cried. Not because of the money, but because it proved I wasn't crazy. I could do this. I wasn't useless. That little $60 deposit became my Roman Empire. I built quietly, carefully, never with my real name. I didn't want the Montclairs to know, not yet, not ever. I hired 1 part-time engineer, then 2, then 5. Within 2 years, Nexon had 10,000 SMB clients. Within 4, we'd hit 100,000. We scaled globally through data center deals I negotiated over ramen and Red Bull at 3 a.m. from a studio apartment I still shared with 2 roommates. I didn't go public. I didn't brag. I built in the shadows. And when I needed a CEO, someone flashy and friendly who'd schmooze investors, I hired Rex Dalton, former actor. Widowed, square-jawed, mild as hell. He looked like an Armani model and had the charisma of a rescue dog. He was perfect and obedient. Rex stood on stages. I sat in back rooms with NDAs and control keys. Nobody knew the real architect behind Nexon. Until the Montclairs came knocking. 8 years. That's how long I stayed in the dark. Then Petra, my right hand and the only person alive who knew the full truth, handed me an envelope with that smug, embossed Montclair logo on the front.
"They're asking Nexon to sponsor their 4th of July gala," she said. "Hamptons, big one, black tie, the whole circus."
I stared at it like it was radioactive. Do they know?
"Not a clue," she grinned. "They think Rex runs everything. They're calling him visionary."
Of course they were. I opened the letter. The wording was typical Montclair, fake elegance dipped in elitism. The Montclair family cordially invites Nexon Systems to sponsor our annual 4th of July gala at the East Hampton estate. That estate. The very house I was kicked out of. They were asking me to fund the very stage where they flaunted their fabricated legacy. I said yes. Then I made some calls. By the end of that week, I'd quietly purchased all Elise Montclair Holdings debt through Shellcore and subsidiaries. The estate, leverage, the foundation, fragile. They didn't even notice the trap closing. I didn't want a confrontation. I wanted an execution. July 4th, 7:06 p.m., Hamptons. My car rolled up the circular driveway like it belonged there. Because it fucking did. It was custom-built matte silver, running on my proprietary battery tech. The valet looked like he'd seen a goddamn UFO. Elise Montclair, I said.
He paused, checked his list, blinked. You're VIP, very VIP.
The party was packed. Money everywhere. Models sipping Vruv. Politicians backslapping hedge fund bros. The kind of crowd that mistook nepotism for nobility. And there I was, in a plunging black velvet gown with a slit to my hip and a diamond cuff that cost more than Julian's car. Hair like fire, smile like murder. People turned when I walked in. Some tried to place me, others just gawked. It didn't matter. I wasn't there for them. I was there for them. Julian found me first, flanked by some junior associate in a too-tight dress.
Elise? He blinked. Jesus, you look...
Like money? I said.
He laughed awkwardly. What brings you here?
Oh, you know, nostalgia. And the fact that I paid for the party.
His face drained. What?
Nexon Systems, I said. I own it.
He blinked. But Rex...
Is my puppet? I took a sip of champagne and walked off. Next, I saw Corinne. She was holding court near the garden, wearing some Dior thing with pearls bigger than my fist. Her expression froze when she saw me.
Elise, she said, voice tight. What are you...
Saving your ass, I interrupted. You're in default. I bought the note. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Technically, I said, leaning in close, I own the land this house sits on. You're squatting at this point. She paled. William just stood beside her, silently imploding. It was beautiful. At 9 p.m. sharp, I took the stage. Petra had arranged the drones, the fireworks, the press, the catered silence. I grabbed the mic and looked over the crowd. Good evening, I said. I'm Elise Montclair. Yes, that Montclair. You probably haven't heard that name spoken in a while. It tends to come with tension, nervous laughter. I was disowned by this family years ago. No money, no connections, nothing but a duffel bag and rage. I let the silence bloom. I built Nexon Systems from nothing. And tonight, I'm proud to say, this party, this house, this land, it all belongs to me now. A gasp. Then two. I own the debt, the estate, the event, even the water in your goddamn glasses. Behind me, the drones lifted. Nexon rises. The Montclair legacy is dead. Elise owns everything. Gasps turned into screams. Corinne fainted. Julian dropped his drink. And don't worry, I said. I'm not here to make peace. I'm here to remind you. The trash you threw out just bought the dump. Mic drop. The party disbanded in chaos. I walked out with Petra at my side, champagne in hand, the sky behind me spelling my name in diamonds and flame. The tabloids blew up the next morning. Disgraced heiress becomes tech queen in secret. Who really built Nexon? Meet the woman behind the curtain. From ashes to empire, Elise Montclair's ruthless return. Julian tried to call me. Corinne sent flowers. William emailed some half-assed apology. I sent them all a single note. Try harder. You failed at raising me. At least let me enjoy being the woman who outgrew your cage. I turned the estate into a startup incubator. The ballroom, co-working space. Corinne's old tea salon, server room. I created the Corinne Initiative, a scholarship program for girls who'd been cast aside. Every time someone asked about the name, I smiled and said, she inspired me, just not in the way she intended. As for me, I kept building. Not for money, not even for legacy, but for one beautiful reason. Because fuck them.